More northern Utah Bigfoot. After asking the following question on RMSO Bigfoot Media, here's the question. Over half reported Bigfoot sightings happen from a vehicle. Where were you when you saw Sasquatch? Here are some of the responses we received. Andrew writes, hiking up a drainage, bow hunting mule deer in Utah. I was stalking up to this water hole that I have bow hunted deer before. The wind was in my face at first light. There was not any deer at the water. I caught movement a little ahead of me on the opposite hillside. In a thick stand of gamble oaks, there was a black head above the foliage. It looked like a gorilla's head, but a little bit bigger, and the nose was different. It was more hooded than a gorilla's, but less than a human. By this point, I was about 17 yards from it. I pretended that I didn't notice it as I walked past it, watching it with my periphery vision. It was holding very still, but I did see it blink. The stand of oak brush is over 12 inches higher than my 5-foot 11-inch head. That stand of oaks has a game trail that cuts across the trail it was leading to the water. The head I saw was in the brush about 6 feet off the trail. It is the ideal spot for an ambush. The wind was perfect, and between the brush and curve of the hill, the deer would not have seen it. I saw it because I came from behind it, coming from the drainage, not crossing it. It is in an open meadow above that stand of oaks. At night, deer feed until morning. They cross the drainage, stopping to drink, and then bedding on the other hillside completely covered in oak brush. The moose love those oak stands, and I have seen several different moose disappear when they enter. I have also found a partial track and tree structure in the nastiest blowdown I have ever had the misfortune of getting into on a different mountain range. Lisa writes, snowmobiling in the Uintas. At first we thought it was a bear, but they hibernate here in the winter. No, it was about 7 feet tall and blackish hair and stood by a tree, then turned around and walked up the hill in about 2 feet of snow. So then I knew it was not a bear. It happened about 20 years ago in the northern part of the Uintas of Utah. My husband had an experience in Pole Canyon near Santa Quin, Utah, hiking 3 years ago. He stopped because he heard something and there was boulders thrown at him that came out of nowhere. Believe me, we knew what it was. Kathy writes, I was in my car delivering newspapers early morning and a young male Bigfoot crossed the road right in front of me on the way out of Mountain View, Wyoming, about 4:30 a.m. It was lightly snowing. The road leads into the Uinta Mountains. It's a rural area with little to no traffic that early in the morning. I watched it easily step over a ranch fence, then it disappeared into the trees not far from the river. RMSO responds, we were in that area not long ago traveling through Mountain View to investigate Meek's Cabin Reservoir and Lyman Lake Bigfoot sightings in the Uinta Mountains. He must have been fairly tall to easily step over a fence. Giant Garland Sasquatch, Uinta Bigfoot evidence, and dog alerts fisherman to Maple Creek Canyon Bigfoot. Giant Garland Sasquatch blocked the view of a stop sign entirely. Greg writes RMSO, my aunt who saw the Garland, Utah Bigfoot in the early 80s mentioned that it completely covered a stop sign in front of her, and the smell of it reminded her of a dead cow. It smelt awful. The artist rendition of Bigfoot in the RMSO video titled Homestead, Harassed by Bigfoot on Outskirts of Coalville reminded her of the Bigfoot she saw in Garland City, Utah. RMSO responds, hi Greg, thank you for relaying your aunt's encounter and sighting. Excited to hear that one of the artist renditions of Bigfoot we used in one of our videos actually looks like one someone saw in the northern part of Utah too. Sasquatch Trackway discovered in a hotbed location of Bigfoot activity and sightings. A Uinta mountain fisherman discovers Bigfoot Trackway. Ben P. writes, so my buddy went backpacking in the Uintas over the weekend. He headed off trail to a little-known pond he discovered fishing years ago. These tracks show up around the shore. Defined toes with mid-tarsal break. The gait was 42 inches approximately. What the heck? He seriously came across this in a primitive area. This isn't a hoax with someone making prints. RMSO states the prints have dried out and have hardened up. It looks like possibly the ground may have been softer when the creature made these. You wouldn't expect them to look hardened and old if someone had hiked in and did this. We've been all over the Uintas because of the Bigfoot sightings in the area. For someone to hike off to a remote area, make tracks, hoping that someone would come along and find them is just ludicrous. These look great. The Uinta Mountains and the areas surrounding them have some of the largest concentrations of Bigfoot sightings reported in the state of Utah. Franklin Basin Bigfoot in Maple Creek Canyon of southern Idaho. Dog alerts several fishermen to nearby Sasquatch in Maple Creek Canyon. Neil W.E. writes RMSO. This is a personal thing and I trust you with this. When I was 12 years old, my dad took my brother and I to an old beaver pond that he used to go to as a boy. This is up Maple Creek Canyon from Franklin, Idaho. After the road ended, we had to park and walk quite a way up this canyon. When we finally got there, we were on the hillside above the beaver pond. Dad was telling us about how he would come up there and fish as a boy. We had our German Shepherd named Jason with us. All of a sudden, he just started growling, and the hair came up on the back of his neck. If you would have known our dog, this was not his usual demeanor. Jason was looking at something across the canyon from us, maybe 50 yards away. We were looking at what appeared to be a large bear next to some logs. And I was thinking, hey, I just saw a bear. Then this thing stands up on two legs, looks at us, and walks up over the hill. It stood and walked up the hill like a man. I remember thinking, bears can't walk like that. It really sunk in about what I know I was seeing. A Bigfoot. This was in 1974, and I can still see the image clear as day. Does Bigfoot exist? My answer is yes. I've taken a lot of ribbing from people I have shared this with, but I know what I saw. I will never say different. RMSO responds, Hi Nil, we have investigated several Bigfoot sighting reports including a video of Sasquatch near that very area. Franklin Basin, Bear Cub River, Willow Flats, Logan Canyon, and the North Sinks. Seems to be a hotbed of Bigfoot activity near where your family had your Bigfoot encounter and sighting. Kimmie finds mysterious figure in RMSO video titled 5 People Chased by Idaho Sasquatch. I am going to enlarge the footage Kimmie alerts us to and slow it down so that we can try and get a better look. We were in the area doing a Bigfoot sighting investigation by 5 people that were paced and chased by a Bigfoot in their truck. One of them spotted the Bigfoot outside the truck, jumped in, and they took off, and this thing paced them, chased alongside their truck, scared the crap out of them. And then a couple of days later, just about 20 miles away, a rancher with a couple of his horses, he spot a Bigfoot too, possibly the same Bigfoot. So we're in the area looking around. Well, in the video that we did the sighting report called 5 People Chased by Idaho Sasquatch, Kimmie finds something of interest. Kimmie writes RMSO, What do you think this is? It's in a video of yours. Thank you for consistently putting out great content. RMSO responds, Hi Kimmie, wow, this is pretty cool looking. Good shape and color to it. It looks like the camera pans over it twice right before the timestamp you provided. Not sure if it was what we were looking for that day or something else that is Bigfoot shaped in color. However, it's interesting to see. Thank you for sending us the screenshot with the timestamp. I hope you guys enjoyed the Bigfoot evidence, the sighting reports in Bigfoot sighting hotspots, the north part of Utah, the southern part of Idaho. Along that border, we get a lot of Bigfoot sightings and do a lot of Bigfoot investigations. We're really familiar with the area because of this. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.